never-ending stream of
banter
sanity going on between these years.
I think, are we live, Ryan? Did you?
We're live.
We're
We're
live.
live.
Hey,
Oh my
hey.
God.
Yes, we should be.
Ryan.
Everybody running hide.
Let me pull this up here. I
Hello.
hate when I'm sharing my screen and Zoom's like, oh, I'm gonna go into this other mode now. Like could you just share my screen? Could you do that? So hi, all of you 28 people that are here. Welcome. If you're like, hey, what's going on? I thought we were gonna learn about this crazy awesome zine that y'all create and learn from the people who created it. Well, you will in about 30 minutes because you're here for pre-show banter because you show up early because we show up early and we don't even remember why we showed up early at this point. We just know
it's the party.
And where else would
We're
we
here for the
be?
party.
We like each other. I think that's what I'm gonna camp on.
Yes.
I like everybody but Jason Blanchard. No,
That's why he's not here.
no, right?
He bullied him away. He's the only one actually working.
He's not even here.
He's actually working right now. The only one here.
Take your great value Ryan Reynolds visage and skedaddle.
He's probably watching.
So how is everybody today? This fine list of folks.
We're good. I'm good.
Yeah.
More
Doing
awake
great.
than
I
you
didn't
are,
know.
probably.
Yes. Everyone heard the maladies of my life on pre-show banter.
Yeah.
Not that I won't bore folks with that. Other than, tired.
Ian's a little tired. He's a little muted. Like even muted Ian is still like energy level up here. So I think you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, problem. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
And we got special guests here. Gerald, hi. How are you? From Simply Cyber.
Hey, Ian. Hey, team. I'm doing great. I love it. It's great to be collaborating. I actually felt like it'd been a minute since I had, filled my bucket or my Black Hills bucket. So, the shirt and the merch kind of like scratches the itch, but I needed more. So this is like perfect timing.
Yeah, I invited him like 10 minutes before he needed to be here. So I knew if anyone could show up last minute, it'd be Jerry.
Yeah.
So now, and we've got the whole ACM team or a bunch of the ACM team here because we're talking today about Prop Magazine and the awesome issue that was put together for threat hunting. And you're going to hear all about it, like I said, about 28 minutes. But while you're, waiting, if you're not already in our Discord, shared on my screen over here, not that you know that, but it's over here, is our Discord, discord.gg/BHIS. If you're not already in there, we're over here in the BHIS webcasts category here. And you go down to live chat and there's F&G up there. Why not raw? What's the thing you get when you undercook chicken?
Why not raw? Oh,
Salmonella.
Yeah,
Salmonella.
that's why not raw. Salmonella.
That's just chicken though.
I
So
suppose.
like tartare, that's you can eat steak tartare.
So
Right?
you can jump in here and talk about so you're not worried about like salmonella. Absolutely F&G. Did you hear, speaking of raw, and I know I'm going to pause there for a second because it could go a lot of different ways. There was like a thing that came out about, I think it was the FDA or someone begging people to stop eating raw cookie dough. And first off, I don't need that negativity in my life. How do you all feel about that?
I agree.
It's supposed to have like raw eggs in it. Was that the thinking?
Flour
Yeah.
now, isn't it? Not the eggs, it's the
There's a
flour.
gluten, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why I can't eat flour?
So from my understanding, and I'm not an expert, but the safety on eggs got good enough that it's not really that much of a concern anymore as far as the raw eggs. Like we're pretty safe about those. The flour, that's where I think it is salmonella still, but in the flour, so raw flour, you shouldn't eat that. I don't know enough. That's all I know.
Oh, we're gonna Google the heck out of that. And
I'm gonna have to stop doing lines of flour. I think got on heroin, and now this is bad.
How else are you going to get that flower power?
That's right.
oh, Ryan.
Oh.
Ryan, your dad jokes. Oh gosh, you're so good. You're quiet for like 10 minutes.
I'm going to slide in there with a dad joke. That is honestly the way you do the dad joke, right? You can't have people expecting it. Just hit them with it.
Yeah, he rarely bombs, much to Jason's chagrin.
Hey Ed, you watching this? Steven Universe, hello. I am not Ed, but I am watching this. Butt of horse. That's a great. I hadn't seen that text with that GIF. Butt of horse. That's fantastic.
Am I the only one that's freaked out with like animal heads on human bodies?
Yeah, it's weird.
Is
Yeah,
it just me? I don't.
no, I'm with you.
How do you
It's a
feel
bit
about
uncomfortable.
With when the dog has the human hands, do you know what I'm talking
For
about?
some, I do. For some reason, that's fine with me. I don't know why, but so I will show. We got the first bear versus bear comic. I won't show too much of it, but in it, Ian is a moose, and I have a problem that there's no like hooves. You have fingers, and it just wanted you to have hooves. That's just dead tangent. That's it. There you go. Nice.
Yeah. But I could go so many wrong directions.
I kind of want to go and get the Easter Bunny head out of my closet and put it on just to see Deb's reaction as we, it's just that animal head.
I'd do this and not be here.
And she's like, I'm leaving now.
Just kidding.
I'm leaving now.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. This is not the webcast. We have not figured it out. We are here for pre-show banter. We just show up and talk at you, with you, to each other for the next 24 minutes. So thanks for showing up early.
Yeah. For the 45 folks that are here. Okay, first
Deb, tell us about the trolls.
That's fantastic. Yeah, what's going on with the trolls?
I don't want to talk about the trolls.
Don't
I'm
wanna talk about the
catching up on the gifts. Thanks, Shelby. It's
Okay.
great.
All right.
Everybody's trying to creep Deb out with the gifts. here.
I did. I gave them like a nugget. They're just, exploiting it. It's fine.
They did have one, I saw one with the dog with the hands. At least there was a good one in there.
Good. Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's
I
fine.
do-
It's just me.
I do
like
love
the
the
eagle with the
cats.
muscle arms.
Oh yeah. There's a whole subreddit, birds with arms, or isn't that it? Birds with arms? No, it's true.
There must be.
No,
Damn,
I'm dead serious. Hold on, I'll find it.
pretty niche.
This is important stuff.
Yes.
Actually get a browser up that
Oh, Backdoors and breaches. You're just showing all sorts of stuff. Ian.
I know. It's not like I've been like jumping in and out of tabletop.
Yeah.
No.
Is your first day? You being
My first
onboarded?
day. It is my first day.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah.
I forgot my pants. Is that okay?
As long as you don't step away
Just
from
keep the camera up. Yeah.
Just
Right. Just
Yeah.
keep it up here, buddy.
Up. That's
stay.
everyone who's wearing pants, raise their hands.
Technically,
All-
no.
all the
I'm wearing
women.
shorts.
All the women raise their hands.
Not many people raise their hands.
Well, I have shorts. I'm in Florida.
That's
That's what you
true.
wear.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I have capris, but I still raise my hand.
This whole subreddit.
Birds with arms.
Nice.
Yeah. Nobody stand up, please.
Yeah.
Everybody remain seated.
Please do.
It's crazy. I thought you were
I forgot.
joking about
No,
this.
no, it's that serious. And
Ooh,
that, by the
chicken's
way,
weird.
well, the chicken, that's a 3D print. You can go print that for your bird. And there's like a little collar that goes under their feathers, and they've got Tyrannosaurus arms, they've got like buff dude arms, they've got and you just
That's so wrong.
Ugh.
That's perfect.
I wanna see the Venn diagram of people who own 3D printers and who own chickens.
Yeah.
It's probably higher than you think.
Probably bigger
There's
than
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah. Just for the record, it's humans with just like a mask of something else on. These are all adorable. These are fine for me.
They kept the chicken legs on that one. I could have gone further.
Oh my what?
Nice.
No.
The lips.
Oh,
Oh,
Deb, are you okay with the people who get the inflatable dinosaur thing?
Oh man.
I'm fine with that. They
Okay.
just, they're a little bit under of messing with me, but
Okay.
yeah, those are fun. Yeah. I mean, I did dress up in a bear suit a couple times at conferences recently, so yeah.
That's true.
Anyone else want to share some random thing that bothers them? No, everyone else just living life.
Jason seems like no.
We've learned, Deb. We learned what happened.
You know, I should know. That's fine. Yeah, thanks for walking into this, Janelle. If you're just joining, especially if this is your first time with us, we are ACM Black Hills Wildwood Second Fest. We're a bunch of awesome companies that really like each other and show up early to talk to each other and you before we do our actual webcast. So thanks for taking a risk.
And Jerry.
And Jerry.
Yeah, what's going on with Simply Cyber while we got you on here? What are y'all up to?
Oh, yeah, we're busy up in there. A whole bunch of stuff, actually, since you asked.
I will ask.
We're doing, we do daily threat briefings now every single morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Haven't missed one. We had 378th episode in a row today.
Wow.
So that's been really, really fun. We got a live stream later today with one Deb the Deb and two other individuals. If you guys are familiar with Black Hill's work and Deb Wigley and all the great contributions she makes for so many different things, including her cybersecurity conference experience, and you'd like to learn how to crush a CyberCon, come by at 4:30. We'll be live with Deb dropping knowledge bombs.
I'll put a horse head on. It'll be great.
Yeah, put a horse head on. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for asking, Ian. And we actually we're putting our feet into the pool, if you will, just our toes, with a conference in November. It's no Wild West Hack and Fest, so please tamper your expectations. It will be virtual only, but I did reach out to Velda to get my bearings on how to do this, and it's going to be pretty sick. So stay tuned for more information on that.
Nice.
That's
As
awesome,
someone
Jerry.
who
Thank
has
you.
worked on or run multiple virtual conferences, I applaud you. And as your lawyer, I'm required to tell you that, oh my God, you shouldn't. But anyway, it's very fulfilling. You'll love it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where, I like to think of myself as somebody who serves the community, and this was something that the community was asking for. So I said, okay, let's do it.
Mhm. That is.
Oh, I can't put a URL in chat. Huh. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, that's because of the
because-
trolls.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. I put the link there. Someone can copy and paste it if you want more information. Anyways, I will be at Wild West Hackin' Fest. I can't wait for that. Whew. That's like my absolute. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir over here, but that is hands down the best cyber conference I've ever been to.
Checks in the mail.
Yes,
Totally agree.
Yeah.
definitely means
Totally
a lot coming from you. Because how many conferences? I mean, you've been to so many.
Yeah, I've been to a lot. Yeah, there's thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that's the page. We're doing CFP right now. So we don't have the talks yet lined up, but there's 2 tracks on the speaking, and this is a really cool thing. Our underpinning mission is inclusion and accessibility to everybody for the community. So one of the tracks is 15-minute talks, and it's designed for people who have never given a talk before. It's specifically 15 minutes. That way, if you freeze up or whatever, it's okay. It's only a few minutes, and we'll give people opportunity to do their first conference talk. And then the other track is more, seasoned pros who want to share some information or something like that. I'm trying to get Jen Easterly to be the keynote. So we'll see how that goes. I have an inside line at CISA, so we'll see how that works.
Yeah, no, she was the keynote. I know the organizer that worked through getting her for Diana Initiative, and it's a process.
It very much is. Yeah,
It is. And to be fair, she's very in demand and government employee and all that good stuff. So, but it's a process. But yeah, no, good luck. I'm sure if she can, she will. She seems fantastic.
Yeah, I love what she's doing, and yeah, it's cool. And we're gonna have some workshops too. You guys know Cody Kinsey?
I don't know that I do.
Yeah.
Oh, Cody's awesome. He was like the brain, or he was the work on Nullbyte, Wonder How To's Nullbyte Cyber Weapons Lab. If you've ever seen that, it's got like 800,000 subs on YouTube. He's wicked awesome, and he does a lot of OSINT and wireless security stuff. And he and I have been kind of like collaborating on stuff. He's going to do a wireless security training he builds these things. I don't know if you've seen these things. They're called what are they called? Wi-Fi nuggets.
Gadgets. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of this. Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me about this thing, because I was super interested in this.
Yeah, it's kind of like Flipper Zero. It's kind of like a Flipper Zero, except it doesn't have as much functionality, but he makes these and he 3D prints the cases, and it can do wireless DOS, but it can do a whole bunch of other stuff like wireless dragnetting and passive signal intelligence. And it can do a bunch of wicked awesome stuff. And it's a nonprofit conference. So people that are like buying tickets are basically donating money, and it's going to go towards paying for these things for the training. But he's going to give a a 2 or 3 hour multi-step wireless security training using these tools. So he's really, really cool. If you guys never heard of Cody Kinsey, go check him out. He's wicked cool.
I'd heard of the Nuggets. I don't know that I'd put the name together. And you got a question from Eric G. Any specific topics you're looking for?
Oh, thanks, Eric. Actually, no, it really is just wide open cybersecurity. Like, the Simply Cyber, it's all about support, inclusion, and love for cybersecurity. So it's not wicked focused on like SOC work or Red Team Village or something like that. It's really, just if you have something that you think can add value to a community and you want to share it, then please submit. And actually, I know this is Black Hill's stream, but I'll drop a link in chat for the CFP form if you'd like to fill that out.
Absolutely. No,
I can't. Drop a link
just
here.
dump it. Ryan can make it. Ryan's been following
okay.
and making them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
You need the header on it.
Thanks for sharing.
Or-
And we got our ACM team here, who's obviously going to talk about the work that they did with Caitlin and the rest of the prompt team and all that. But how's ACM going? What do you guys got going on coming up here soon? Beyond what we're going to talk about.
Got a new version of AC Hunter out, and a lot of work went into fixing up bugs and performance issues. So the commercial version is available. And if you haven't already downloaded the community edition, that's for free. www.activecountermeasures.com gives you a chance to use the same tool as the enterprise edition. Just a few features were taken out for the free community edition.
Nice.
That's our big news for the first half of the year.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Discord,
Keith.
Yeah. In the Discord, who's used the new community edition? Let us know. What do you think? Is it I'll do the old Stephen Colbert bit. Great software product or greatest software product?
There are two choices and only two choices.
Right.
You can do a poll if you really want to.
Oh, it sounds professional. I don't know about that. But
So Jerry, I have to ask something. You say wicked a lot. Are you from New England?
Yeah. This is in the chat right now. Yeah. I'm from just south of Boston.
Yeah.
And I've been in
Perfect.
the South now for over 10 years, but my accent, well, wicked, I definitely say all the time, but my accent comes out a little bit. In fact, earlier today, I made my wife toast, and I was like, do you want butter on it? Like I don't say it all the time like that anymore.
When you're around other people. So
Yeah.
Chris Brenton, I'm sure, like it'll
Like
come out
butter.
wicked strong.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really funny when we drive over the border into Massachusetts. It's almost there's no explanation why, but like my accent comes back like wicked thick, like wow thick, and so that's my story.
Does your wife appreciate it? Does she like that, or she's like, simmer down?
Oh no, I mean she's cool about it. She's from New England too, so she's got exposure.
Nice.
that's all the massel.
I get that same thing, Jerry. I'm from New Hampshire, but I moved from there in '84. I'm in the South now, but I get the same thing. I go back for like a week, and after like 3 or 4 days, I'm saying like, wicked smart. And like it comes back,
Do
Does.
you ever leave your khakis and your khakis?
Get it.
Yeah. you know what's a really accurate portrayal? There's an SNL skit with Casey Affleck at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. And like Casey's obviously he's from like Dorchester or Roxbury, something like that. The Afflecks. So that Dunkies commercial, it's so on brand. It's so accurate.
I love when he throws it at the windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
I am smoking outside. He's got his I almost said arm. Jesus. He's got his arm out the window. It's awesome. I haven't talked this much about Boston in a while. But yeah, no, it's good to see you, Keith. We're representing New England.
Yeah, absolutely. And it made me think years ago, like when my wife, when we first met and got together, we were in an airport somewhere, and I said, man, I'm like wicked thirsty. I need a bubbler. And she's like, what the heck is a bubbler?
Bubbler.
Yeah.
It's a water fountain, but in the Northeast, it's actually a bubble.
A bubble.
Bubbler.
And living most of my life in Florida, I'm like, if you're thirsty, why are you smoking weed? I don't understand. Like, there's some people in the chat that's going to get that. And everyone here is a fine, upstanding person. So they're not going to get that.
Now.
No.
You guys ever taken that quiz that like it asks you what do you call this thing and they describe it without using the word, and then at the end they tell you like all the regions your accent or dialect and language is from?
It nailed mine. I remember it was like, it's like you're from Ohio or your family is, like your house was. I was like, yeah.
Mine was really interesting because I've moved around a lot. I moved around about 14 times growing up. And my mom, when she was growing up, was from like the Chicago, Illinois area. And so all of the areas that I've been, they highlighted when I took the quiz. And then a couple where my dad had lived, but we hadn't. So that was really cool.
That's strange.
Wow. Yeah.
That is interesting.
What do you
We got
call
it.
a sandwich with a long bun halfway cut through the middle?
A
I would call
grinder.
that a sub sandwich.
Sub. Okay. What else we got?
Grinder.
Grinder. Perfect.
Yeah.
And there's at least one more.
Hoagie, right? Isn't that what Philly
Yep.
people from
Hoagie.
Philly say?
Yeah.
Yep. That
And,
narrows it down right there.
What about a po' boy? Does a po' boy fall into that
Oh
category?
boy. Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
Is a po' boy a specific type of like sub or hoagie, or is it like a generic name?
I
They
don't
don't know.
know. Anybody care to give an insight on po' boys?
Looking over at the Discord here.
All right,
I'm
F and
sure
G,
it's like a
what do you get in
Louisiana,
a po' boy?
Texas thing.
Yeah, po' boys are very South Louisiana. Yeah.
Yeah, and we see them in the South. Yeah, like shrimp po' boys.
Italian. That's
Italian.
right. Yep. There you go. But grinder.
Gotta go to Sam's, get your Italian subs.
Go to D'Angelo's and get a number 9
D'Angelo's,
all the
yes.
way. Brah.
Being here in Florida, though, it's the pub sub. The pub
Forgot
sub
about
is
the Angelos.
life.
Isn't that a messaging design inside ZMQ pub sub?
Pub sub. Maybe.
Well, I got a tough one for you guys.
Okay.
The name is a cabinet. It's a drink. What is it?
I'm sorry. What was it? What was the first part?
Cabernet.
Cabinet. Cabinet.
It's a cabinet.
It's like a piece of furniture, a cabinet,
Yeah.
but it's a drink. What is it?
Is it a trivia question, or are you saying you would order a
Yes.
cabinet at
It is.
a
It's
bar?
called a cabinet, but what kind of drink is it?
Oh,
Someone
Would it be
says
followed by Sauvignon?
It's a milkshake.
a milkshake?
That's right.
I've
And
not
you'll
heard
find
that
it
one.
primarily called that in Rhode Island and Connecticut.
Oh,
Interesting.
wow. Never heard that one.
I
get
haven't
a
heard that either.
frap. Is a
I haven't
frap
heard
and a
that one
milkshake
either.
different?
Oh,
I
boy.
don't think so.
Frap, milkshake.
Crap.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think frap is.
Eric G.
Eric G bringing
Cereal
the
soup.
breakdown.
Is cereal a soup?
Soup. I adore those memes where like, there's a TikTok where it's just like someone's like, "Hey, do you want some dinner?" And the person's like in a hole, like going, cereal's just a soup with milk, or like all this stuff, and they're like, "Please stop," and they just keep going with those kind of realizations. I love that stuff.
Batter
Milkshake.
fried shellfish or lower cuts of fish. Oh, interesting.
All right.
Thank you, Chris James, NYU.
So we've got 7 minutes until showtime. So if you arrived here, the 106 of you, and are like, "What? Why are they talking about sandwiches?" 1, because sandwiches are amazing. And 2, this is pre-show banter, and we got about 7 minutes until we kick it off with the ACM team and the Prompt team. We talk about our latest issue of Prompt magazine. Some of you have already received it in the mail. Some of you, it's still coming, and it is a great issue. And we're going to talk about how it got put together and how the ACM team, the Active Countermeasures team, worked with the Prompt team. And Prompt, they got the Prompt and the ACM then they mashed it together, and then we're going to talk about that. So this is your now 6-minute warning. If you got to go use some facility, walk a dog, get coffee,
Get a cabinet. I don't know.
get a cabinet.
Get
Yeah.
a boy.
6 minutes.
Or frap.
Yeah.
Sure, it made you hungry.
And of course, we'll right now, I think is probably the right time to do the classic GIF question, which is what are you, an idiot sandwich? Yeah, get a soda, whatever it is, take your meds, keep all the voices out, all that good stuff. But yeah, throw us a GIF in the Discord if you haven't joined yet. That is discord.gg/BHIS. We are over here in the webcast live chat channel. Throw us a GIF telling us where you're from.
Tell us where you're from.
Telling us where you're from.
Without telling us. And I
saw effigy there, and I know it's a little bit behind there. I was like, "You're from the insane asylum?" Like, oh,
it's very possible.
yeah. But exactly how fast can you pull up that GIF?
I mean, I had it up like 10 seconds before you.
Oh,
said
did, okay.
it.
You
Just
just had it.
ready.
She was
ready to go.
anticipating.
We're pretty predictable over here with how we do webcasts.
Yeah.
We also like to ask if this is your first time. I'm always a little cognizant of people who have no idea who we are. I'm like, we should probably give some intros and maybe not just wing it. Let's just wing it.
What are you talking about? Intros? What?
Yeah.
We're gonna go. We want to go around and introduce each other. Like that?
Yeah, sometimes we do that because some
Yeah,
people this is
every
their
time.
first. This is their first
Okay, we can do
experience
that.
with us.
You want to do that right as we kick it off? We'll go around and
Yeah,
everyone
let's
says
do
hi.
that. Let's do that.
Okay. I think we can do that.
I like it.
Yesterday we didn't do that because it was just like 3 of us.
Yeah. Takes 10 seconds. Yeah.
Right. That's all.
And we have Jerry as a guest. I brought Jerry on because he's a big fan of the zine, and
We're a
during
big
the webcast we'll all turn our cameras off. But Jerry, you can just tell us how much you like the zine in the last like 4 minutes. There you go.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hey everybody, I'm Jerry. I have been subscribing to the Prompt Sharp. What do you guys call it internally? Because I call it Prompt Sharp, but
We just say prompt.
We say prompts.
You just
Okay,
gotta ignore the little octothorpe on the end there.
Octothorpe, yeah.
prompt pound or whatever.
Oh my
whatever.
god, that took me a
Prompt
while to
hashtag.
figure out what you were saying. I'm like, prompt. Oh yeah.
Yeah, or Prompt Shop maybe.
That.
But I've been a loyal subscriber since the beginning. I've got multiple issues in sealed and wrapped, for the Antique Roadshow in 2051.
Mhm.
And I absolutely love this magazine. You can tell, just like Black Hills Information Security, it permeates throughout every initiative Black Hills touches. This magazine is clearly made with thought and care and love and intended to be useful and helpful for the consumer of it. And that's why I subscribe religiously.
Thought and care.
The threatening.
A lot of care.
A lot of care. Wicked care. I don't know if you can have
Wicked care.
Yeah. Tell your
That
mother I
works.
said hello.
I did go over. My copy was Basin's Cubicle. I had to go get it.
Basin's cubicle. Yeah.
That you just reminded me of the Mark Wahlberg Talks to Animals skit, which is one of my favorites of all time.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
I don't know
I've-
if I've seen that one.
I recently started my 13-year-old daughter has got my sense of humor, and she's old enough now that I can start sharing some of the weird internet stuff with her. And Z Frank, who does the weird animal facts, has got a new. It's the true animal facts about the giraffe, like that guy. He also does a series now. The Creepy Dave Animal Show, okay, and it's this vulture talking about other animals, and he's got one on the capybara, and go watch it. It's fantastic.
I'll watch it during the webcast.
Indeed.
No?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Whatever. So 2 minutes, folks. 2 minutes. I'm assuming that's a New Zealander down there, Brian.
He is. He's our resident nerd herder.
Yeah.
Time traveling nerd herder because he is in tomorrow. I think maybe not yet. He's definitely in the future. He'll chime in about what time it is for him.
Tell us how tomorrow is.
Still blows my mind. It's in the future. It shouldn't, but it does.
All right.
Maybe let's do intros now.
We want to do intros now?
Yeah, let's do
Are you
intros
sure?
now. We don't want to take away
We
from the
can do
actual
intros
webcast.
once everyone joins.
Okay, sure.
That's all over the place. She's off her reservation, folks. She's
Don't want to take
going
away
rogue.
from the actual webcast. So
Well, people who join. See, now I'm concerned. Have we been doing this wrong the whole time?
I don't know. There's no playbook. You know
Are
that.
the webinar police going to show up? Because no. Oh man.
No, we wing it every time. It's different. Every Do you have
Sarsaparilla, I did know that, and I'm sad that I did. That is Friday, 5 o'clock, cloudy and wet. Wow, it's 5 a.m. on Friday. All right. That's
I
wild.
hate to inform everybody, but this webcast is not in 3D. Sorry.
Oh man,
Zoom can't do 3D.
can't. That's okay. Thanks.
That might be
Jerry.
a good
Thanks for
thing, but we
To talk about 3D.
we hope
in
you
a
enjoy the
second.
glasses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa. I hadn't seen the Chris Farley where he lifts up and it's still 3D glass. That's All right. So I'm going to stop sharing here because if you're in the sound of my voice, we are about to start here. Make sure you're over in the Discord, discord.gg/BHIS, so you can participate in all the fun chicanery going on over here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, though, because it is, if I remember how to do it, stop, Sherry, stop, stop. Oh, no, just stop share, whatever. Oh, there we go. It's below it. Hey, it's my first day, everybody. I learned how to pewter. I'm Ian Meyer. The rest of this cavalcade here, you are on time for our webcast. This is BHIS Prompt ACM webcast, where we're going to talk about the latest issue of Prompt magazine, which may or may not be at your door right now. Some of you have gotten it, some it's still coming, but we're going to talk about all the cool stuff that went into this magazine with all these lovely people. The ACM team, our active countermeasures team, which is one of the tribe of companies at Black Hills Information Security. And yeah, we're going to have a really good time talking about the design and what went into it. And we're going to do some introductions. Like I said, I'm Ian Meyer. I'm going to be in the background, grabbing your questions and making sure they're there. We got Ryan. Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself real quick for those who don't know what you do in the background?
I kill it with fire. That's what I do. I'm Ryan, live in Orlando, from Maine, though. I have to say that because it's a New England show, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I like how Ryan almost went like full, like Love Connection. It was like, Ryan, 37, live in Orlando, Virgo, like Long Island on the beach and editing video. Thanks.
When he started, I kill things with fire. So I don't know
Yeah.
what kind
Right.
of connections he's getting.
What about you, Caitlin?
I am Caitlin Cash. I am the designer for the zine, and in this issue, I was also the puzzle designer. So I made the clues and I hit them. So if you are frustrated at the puzzle, that's my fault. If you enjoy the puzzle, you're welcome. I hope you had fun. So.
If you enjoyed the puzzle, awesome, fantastic. Miss the wiggliest of wigglies.
Oh, my other Wigglies would argue, but yes.
You're at the top of the chain. So
I am the top of the chain, sure. I am the oldest in my family, so I am the community co-creator. I show up and do these fun things with these fun people, like going to conferences and meeting all of you wonderful people on the other side of the screen. And yeah, that's about it.
Indeed. Mr. Brenton.
Hey, I'm Chris. I break things.
Things will
It
be broken.
hypnotizes people.
Stay on board. Mr. Keith Chu.
And I'm Keith, and I try to fix things.
In
They
order.
chase each other around.
Yeah.
Seriously, I work for both Active Countermeasures and Black Hills. I'm a bit of a Swiss Army knife, I guess. I know just a little bit about everything, enough to be effective and dangerous.
Perfect.
Short answer, he's always got a corkscrew.
Also good.
Nice. Nice.
Mr. Stearns.
Yeah, just let that go. Let it go.
I know just a little bit less than Keith, so I don't know quite enough to actually fix things, but I'm here to help out with AC Hunter and try to keep people happy with the product in the tech support area.
Awesome. Logan.
Hey y'all, I'm Logan. I work for Active Countermeasures in Black Hills, and I mainly develop AC Hunter and Rita.
Fantastic. Lisa. Oh, you're muted. Oh no. Trying to find the mute. We'll come back.
Welcome back.
Naomi.
Hey, I am a software engineer at Active Countermeasures, and I live in Florida.
Awesome.
I'm going to shout out for Naomi also did one of the spreads in the zine, spread with her name on it. She did a really fantastic job on the art on that one. So,
Ethan.
Hey, I'm Ethan. I do threat hunting at Black Hills and threat detection development, a little bit of team management, and whatever crazy ideas John throws at me.
Miss Shelby, do you want to say hi, or are you just going to hang out in the background?
Yeah, I'm not going to turn my camera on because I got two kids in here with me who will take over the entire webcast if they see there's a camera on in the room.
Get it.
But
Wrap the webcast.
But I'm Shelby. I mainly work with Active Countermeasures. I also work with Black Hills though, and I did a little bit in the zine too. So yeah.
Wrote a cool story.
She had a cool story.
Yes, Pikachu.
And did we figure out our mute over here, Lisa?
Yes, there she goes.
There we go. Oh,
Hi, I'm Lisa. I work as a software engineer for ACM.
Nice.
fantastic. And sir, down there, is that pronounced Strand?
Strained. John Strained.
John?
John?
Strand?
Hi.
Hi. So Mr. John Strand, founder of the Feast and all that. So yeah, so what are we here to talk about today? The reason we do it through introductions is this is a huge team of folks that often you do not get to see. You see my face and Deb's face and John's face and all that. But if you're using AC Hunter Community Edition or you're using any of the other really cool active countermeasures products, these are the people making that happen in the background. And this last Threat Hunter Prompt magazine, they worked with the prompt team, Caitlin specifically, putting out this amazing magazine that we're going to talk about here. They worked with them to build this threat hunting issue around that. So from here, I'm going to drop off because y'all don't want to hear from me anymore. We want to hear about all this cool stuff. For those that are going to stick on to actually talk about it, Caitlin and I think John and the ACM team, please stick on. For the rest of us, we're going to go off mic and hang out with you in Discord. So take it away. Don't everybody start talking at once. It's totally fine. Go ahead.
All right. Do we have an e-version of the zine?
I bet we do.
We do.
Yeah.
We might.
Chris, do you want to share your slides?
Sure.
I like how quickly this went off the rails, everyone. Welcome. Our first
Yeah,
webcast.
I think we
This is
had
what
another
happens.
plan and it changed. So I'm not sure where this is going. Yeah, forget the slides. Whatever you guys want to do is
Yeah,
cool.
if we got slides, let's do it. If we got the zine, let's do it. It doesn't matter. We just got to get things up. So,
Yeah, let's go with
but
the
Chris,
zine.
you want to do that?
Yeah, let's go with the zine.
All right.
Over in the chat there as well, you've got the Black Hill. So if you're in the Discord right now, there's the link to Prompt Zine, Prompt Issue Threat Hunting. You can definitely check it out there. And also don't forget to go ahead and subscribe so we can send you one of these cool things. Let's go on.
I am going to go ahead, and if we got slides, we can bring those up. But one of the things I want to do is I want to share my screen real quick. I was kind of waiting for kind of the opening ceremonies to go down. You know what I should do? I should change my screen resolution. Just give me a second here. So this zine, I just wanted to point out, is I think the best zine that we have done by orders of magnitude. Chris, you remember the old Frack magazines?
Heck yeah.
Whenever you and I were talking about doing this particular zine, that was kind of the idea, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to come up because Frack, for those of you that don't know, was this absolutely amazing it was this absolutely amazing magazine where a tremendous amount of history was discovered in computer security. And what I mean by that is whenever you're talking about, buffer overflows, I think the first buffer overflow by ALF1 was released in Frack, wasn't it? Smashing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Profit. And we wanted something that kind of had that type of vibe. Can you all see my screen? Okay.
That we can.
All right. And we wanted to kind of have that overall vibe for this particular magazine and what we were going to do. So a lot of these start out with just kind of this this cartoon that introduces a new card in the Backdoors and Breaches game. We've got the little kind of, talking about the attackers taunt you. And this actually was something that came up on Twitter and a variety of different people where they had seen attackers taunt them in the past. Chris, I know that you've had some gigs that you've worked in the past where attackers have taunted you and other people. I had one where they sent a net help message to everybody in a domain that they didn't say, shall we play a game? They basically were ripping on myself and the other people that were working on IR. This particular one came from Dave Hull, who is the author of a bunch of great tools like Kansa and Malsang and some really, really cool stuff. And then kind of the interesting thing next is Chris's conversation. So you and your team kind of built this entire thing around threat hunting. Was there any specific overarching themes that you were going for, Chris, as you were doing, kind of setting up the plan for this one?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was let's put knowledge in here that makes this useful to kind of keep handy.
Yeah.
You know, let's make this something that, you know, you can read through, have fun with, but at the same time you go through and say, oh wait, I didn't know that. Oh wait, I didn't know this. Oh wait, I didn't know that. Let me hang on to this as a reference for the future.
And that's kind of the big thing, is the reference material. I still have somewhere a whole bunch of 2600s and, Frack magazines that I can't get rid of them.
Yes.
And that's,
although you were talking about taunting, John, I don't think
Yeah.
anything beats what Fluffy Bunny did.
Oh, could you please talk a little bit about Fluffy Bunny? Because you were kind of associated with that one.
Well, cleanup, yes. So Fluffy Bunny was, geez, what was this? This is like 20 years ago.
It's probably over 20, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Cut me some slack, really. I'm old. What can I say?
Okay.
Everything seems like it was only 20 years ago. So, yeah, this was an individual from the UK that was fairly skilled at being able to break into websites. And their big thing was to break into the website and put a stuffed bunny or show a picture of a stuffed bunny in front of a keyboard with a picture of what the site used to look like before they replaced the main web page with a fluffy bunny. And
sitting at a keyboard, by the way.
Sitting at a keyboard, yes.
Yeah.
And I remember getting a call saying, hey, have you looked at the Sans website?
Yeah.
And there was a little bunny, and with a little caption on the bottom that said, look, Ma, I'm on Sans. Yeah, that did not go well. That did not go well.
That was not a good day. We've got kind of, questions compiled from the Infosec community. We have Shelby on. Shelby, wanted to kind of hit up this page, has your name on it. So I'm going to call you out. So it says that we've got it kind of built with the Infosec community, and I think it's safe to say that you're kind of one of the main community leaders as far as like the network threat hunting and kind of tying together Discord and bringing questions into the AC Hunter team. How do we go about actually getting questions from the threat hunting community? Was that just something we went to Discord and pulled it up on?
Yeah, so a lot of these were different questions that we see asked a lot during webcasts that we did. Or Chris does his 6-hour threat hunt training. So these are some questions that we also would see people ask during those as well.
Okay. So you did actually compile it from another questions that we get from the classes as well.
Yes. Yep.
And Chris, what are we up to? How many people have actually taken that class from you now?
Shelby, you'd have a more accurate count than me. We're, I think, around the 30,000 range or somewhere around there.
Yeah, we're just under 30,000.
And I want to kind of spend a moment on that, because I think one of the things that we've been seeing in the industry is this constant push towards, the automated AI tool that's going to do absolutely everything for you. And looking and people, I'm not going to talk about Darktrace or ExtraHop or any of those vendors, ProtectWise, all of this. But you have a lot of these. The idea is you install a tool, the tool magically tells you everything you need to know and does your job for you. And the thing that makes me very happy, and Chris, you and I have talked about this at length, is that whole view is bullshit. Like, there are literally thousands of people that want to know. They want to do it the right way. They want to understand what's going on. And I think that
dude, it is funny how many people come to us for a demo and will tell me that, hey, so we did a proof of concept with vendor X and we set up a command and control channel, and they didn't detect it. And when we called them on it, they said, well, you didn't set it up the right way. Yes, it was a functional command and control channel. Yes, you could remotely control that system, but you didn't do it right, and that's why we didn't detect it. It's not our AI's fault.
Okay, cool. And then these are a series of questions that you said that came from the Discord and the stuff that you deal with all the time. What is C2 over DNS? There's so many tools out there. What do you do? Easiest way to detect lateral movement. And this I wanted to call you on. I have never talked to you about this, but you say identify the command and control server and then move and identify lateral movement. And like I said, we've never talked about that as an approach for identifying lateral movement. Why is that a good approach, right? I mean, you got like a paragraph in here, but I'm assuming that there's more to the answer than that.
It's been fairly effective to be able to go through. So typically what we've seen is You'll have a system that's kind of the primary conduit into an environment. And that may be calling home every 30 seconds, every minute, some sort of fairly quick interval that's fairly easy to go through and detect. And if you go in and you detect that, and then you look at, okay, what is it talking to? Whether that be an IP address or a fully qualified domain name. But then you pivot to say, okay, who in my environment is talking to that same IP address, fully qualified domain name? Usually at least 12 to 14 other systems light up. And they're usually only calling out every like 6 to 8 hours, and that's it. And basically there is backup. So, we've all heard the horror stories of, hey, we found a compromised system, we kicked the bad guys out, and somehow they, got back in a couple hours later. No, they didn't get back in. You didn't get
They never left.
Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why, I always kind of push that threat hunting needs to be passive, and what you do is something that can't be detectable by your adversary, because the first thing most people think of is, oh, that system's compromised, let me isolate it. Well, as soon as you isolate it, they'll figure out you're on to them, and now maybe they start going scorched earth. We've seen that before. It's like, well, if you're onto us anyway, let's just, screw up anything we can as quickly as we can just to make your life miserable because, hey, we're pains in the asses. So.
All right, let's pivot on to Bill. This is one of Bill's pages. This is interesting because this is actually built into the tool. A lot of these different sites are built into the tool, the community edition, where you can actually do threat hunting. And threat hunting is much more than just understanding network traffic. It's much more than, a tool that brings some of these things to your attention. It's actually going through and trying to do some research. And so Bill, some of these we use all the time, right? One of the ones that I think a lot of people may not know very much about is JA3, JA3. I like to call it JA3. It's like JA3. Could you tell people, go ahead. What was that?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So could you talk a little bit about what is JA3? Like, what did Salesforce give us with the JA3 thing?
What we have with HTTP connections is the ability to look at the user agent. What is that browser claiming that it is? Does it say that it's Mozilla, Firefox? Does it say it's Internet Explorer? You've got a nice text description of what at least the browser claims it is, and we actually work with that. The quirk with an encrypted connection is you can't look inside and see what the browser is saying it is. So all we need is some way to group identical browsers together. And Salesforce did this by coming up with what looks like a random hex string, but it's one that's pretty much unique to that one browser talking to that one remote server. So it's a little hard to describe if you don't actually see it, but if I sit down with a web browser and I make 150 connections to the same web server, each one of those is going to get tagged with the same hex string. And now I can group those together. And if I've got the same browser as 50 other people in my building, because we're all on the same identical operating system platform, now I can group all of those together. And I can say, look, this is an approved piece of software. If I see a different hex string show up from the 51st computer, that can be my signal that somebody's using an outdated browser, a beta version of a browser, a totally different browser, or a piece of malware.
Yeah.
IoT.
So,
absolutely.
So it's not just the user agent string, but it's that combination of the communication pair between a relationship between a browser and the server, correct?
Exactly. Right. And what's kind of cool about doing it as a hash is, let's say one browser says I can do AES 512 once we go to a secure channel. And you've got two different browsers that support that. One might choose it as the first option. One might choose it as the second. So even though they both support the same level of encryption, the hash will be different. So you can actually detect, oh, wait, this is two different browsers, possibly two different operating systems.
And that's got to help a lot whenever you're looking at, is this a internal NATed IP address that's making multiple connections, or whether or not it's a real connection from a real browser, correct?
You're right.
Yeah,
and go ahead,
for it, dude.
Chris. So that it lets you identify a little bit of the internal system, not just the fact that there's an IP address talking to the internet, but you can at least get a fingerprint for the internal system and do lookups based on that. If you haven't seen one before, I put one over in Discord. This one just came off the internet. Someone found some malicious JA3 fingerprints.
Yeah.
And so FC54E is an example of async rat talking to an external web server. It's our goal is not to say, oh, look at these fixed strings. And if you see one of these fixed strings, it's bad and everything else is good. But that's the type of signature you can use to separate a unique type of connection from a piece of malware versus a legit.
So typically what you want to look for is you're going to see some unique signatures going off to Microsoft properties, right? There's, you know, like the Wicca subs process uses its own stuff, and, you know, you'll see that. But when it's talking outside of Microsoft, you know, that person probably consistently uses Chrome or consistently uses Firefox, or maybe they run both. You're going to see that same hash being shared every time they connect to a website out on the internet. What you usually find is that the C2 channel has a different hash, and it typically has a different hash because the attacker knows what level of privacy and authentication they want to use with their C2 server. So that ends up being the only thing that gets negotiated. So it's typically what it'll look like when you analyze it is you'll see some hashes going to Microsoft, and then you'll see one, maybe two hashes that are used to talk to like 70 different systems out on the internet. But then there's one system that it uses one unique hash value with, and that's it.
Cool. All right. Thanks. All right. The next one, I think this was just an overview of what Rita is, and we've talked about Rita quite a bit. And, you know, Rita is the heart of AC Hunter and the AC Hunter Community Edition, right? Yep. And, you know, we've already talked a little bit about, you know, why we release this tool to the public and why we're putting it out there and, you know, why it's important to us. But I wanted to talk about two things on this particular slide. The first one is, what is a strobe?
So I can feel that one. So, so when you're talking about beacons, they can be fairly slick. You know, the common example I like to use, just because everybody understands it and what it is and how it works now, is Sunburst. Sunburst was going off every 15 minutes, plus or minus 90 seconds, right? So if you think about, you know, most tools that try to do beacon detection are working with like a 20-minute period of time. There's no way they're going to detect Sunburst because you're only going to see one, maybe two call homes. That's it. And that's not enough to identify connection persistency. So when you're talking about something that's slow and has introduced that much jitter, you need some really good math to be able to figure out, you know, that this is persistent, a connection that you need to pay attention to. Luckily, we've got Lisa on the team to figure that stuff out. But imagine I've got a connection going off, excuse me, every 10 seconds all day long. Do I need math to tell me there's persistency there? Probably not. What about if it's once per second? What if it's 10 times per second? Well, no.
What if it's 1,000 times per second? And it's
yeah, we've seen that.
Your entire tool.
Yeah. So what strobes are for us is, hey, there's persistency here, but there's so many connections taking place that you don't need math to figure it out. And the threshold we use is 86,400, or once per second in a 24-hour period of time.
It's above that.
Yeah, if it's that or above, we just say we're not going to do math to figure out persistency. We're just going to tell you there's persistency, and you know, you can kind of take it from there.
Very cool. All right, let's go on to the next page. These are just exploded DNS long connections. It really kind of explains. And the thing I like about this, y'all, is it's giving you the commands, right? So whenever you're looking at this, if you want to run Rita and you want to get beacons, there's the command, Rita show beacons. You want to get the SNI, you can do that. You can see the strobes, you can see proxy. So this becomes your Rita cheat sheet, kind of your user manual. And also, Bill, installing Rita is not that hard, is it? I mean,
no.
Do you have to establish your Golang environmental variables and such that all up to to get
Well,
this.
of course.
Of
You
course.
have to hex edit your hard drive. No.
We're
This
joking.
In fact, it's easier to install Zeek by installing Rita than it is to try and install Zeek directly yourself.
And that's a lot of work by Bill and a lot of other people, but Bill, what exactly is your role here at this company?
Master of Shitty Little Shell Scripts.
That's
That's
it.
right.
Master of
They
Shitty
gave me
Little-
the choice of my own title, and I went for it. I'm not about to go and take an easy one. It's a little hard to see, but this is my actual business card with the Master of Shitty Little Shell Scripts title on it. Yep.
So funny story behind this section. I tossed this to Lisa to go through and do. And there was a kind of a disconnect on what to do because I imagined her talking a little bit more about the back end math. She did this and she kept talking about like, oh, this is a little bit of a challenge for me to kind of pull this stuff together. And I kept thinking like, why? Because this stuff. And it wasn't until she finished it that I was like, oh, well, no, I was kind of hoping you'd write about the back end math. She's like, oh my God, that would have been so much easier. Talk about math and algorithms. I can do that.
In my defense, you just said Rita breakdown.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, it was definitely on me, not on you, girl. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. And then we love puzzles, right? As you can see by the very confusing thing in the background of Chris's wall that keeps catching my attention and the attention of people's cats everywhere. I'm waiting for Lisa's cat to pop up in the background and start trying to attack the screen. Exactly. That's what I want to do. But we love
speaking of cats, Keith, next time we get together, I got this for you and your cat. Up.
Is it a little hand?
Nope.
Uh-oh. Lisa's going to go get the cat. Yeah, we love our pets. I mean, Shelby even has cat ears that she wears from time to time.
I don't know if this is coming out on the video or not.
And I think honestly, a cat is our spirit creature. We have the attention span of a cat, and that is just adorable.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, awesome.
Did you go steal those from Shelby?
Yeah. I drove to Florida, stole them from her office, and then drove back to New Hampshire.
Yes. And Lisa's cat even has its own laptop.
Oh,
yeah. Just to keep it off of her laptop.
Exactly.
Yeah. It doesn't need a keyboard. It just needs to be heated.
Yeah, that's all the cat needs.
Speaking about all of us loving our pets and cats, Caitlin did something awesome in this zine too that you'll notice. And a lot of the animals that are in it are actual pets of the ACM team members.
Yeah.
Do we have a Venus flytrap? Anyone?
I did, but it died. But I didn't have it at the time, so
I do, but it's not in the mag.
No, it is right here. Venus flytrap, right there. It's on this page. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
Some of our pets are weird. So, like, I have cows. I'm not going to talk about goats.
Wait. No. Oh, now I see it.
All right. So this is this kind of brings us, I don't think, like maybe halfway of the stuff that I really want to get into. And Chris, I can talk about the community edition. Do you want to talk about it? I mean, this is one of those things that I look at as a differentiator. Yeah, talk about it.
Well, I think this goes back to sucking at capitalism. So
yeah.
So that's kind of your ball field.
Okay.
So free, because like tons of free software for people, a magazine, this is kind of your ballpark.
All right. So here's the deal. Rita is at the heart of all of this, right? But we wanted to get this in the hands of as many people as we possibly could. We have another election cycle coming up. The previous election cycle, we offered it for free to anybody that's in the National Guard that's protecting the integrity of the elections anywhere. And by the way, that offer's still on the table. If you know someone who knows someone, we're happy to help. But that example kind of catapulted us into a conversation that lasted a little while of saying, can we create a version that doesn't integrate with LDAP, doesn't integrate with a SIM, but is very useful for people doing one-off threat hunts? Small organizations, home use. Bill, we've got to get together and do the ARP cache poisoning home lab update. We did that before. We need to do that again because you can set up AC Hunter super easy, like as a VM, install BetterCap, ARP cache poison your network, run it through your system with Zeek and AC Hunter on it. And then you have full AC Hunter at home which I need because I have teenagers and they're very, very, very smart. They love VPNs, right? Because that gets around dad stuff. Like that doesn't go to any IP addresses, video game sites that dad's blocking. But like a VPN is going to get lit up like a Christmas tree in AC Hunter. So we're really trying to make this as accessible for as many people as we possibly can. Because the idea of the way that we approach network threat hunting and the way that we teach network threat hunting is sometimes a hard concept, especially whenever you're going up against companies that are like, yeah, you could go get that inexpensive AC Hunter tool and you could do threat hunting, or you could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a product that takes months to set up, but then it's all AI magic and it may or may not work. We're really trying to be the counterbalance to that. We're trying to put this in the hands of as many people as possible, many people on the front lines trying to protect their networks to make it accessible and really putting our money where our mouth is. And, we believe in this product and what we're actually doing in this product. And fire it up. So people are like, we'd like a proof of concept. It's like right there for free. Go give it a shot. If you're a small business and you don't have a budget for the big boys, because who does? You absolutely can just go get it. It's right there. It's free. Just download it and use it. Very awesome interface, very intuitive. We're going to make it even more intuitive. We have all kinds of crazy ideas for the next 12 months to make it even better. And some of those ideas, Lisa, may involve cats or net cats of some kind. I'm not mistaken on that as well. So be on the lookout for that, but it's just our way of giving back to the community and a little bit more on it. We also incorporated cyber deception. Chris, we got so sidetracked after we installed the cyber deception component. I'm just going to take the fall on the sword for this one. I should have done better talking about the cyber deception modules in AC Hunter. Cyber deception is kind of my jam. Even though I think wasn't it you owned the domain for or the book active, it wasn't active countermeasures, activedefense.com, right?
Yeah, that was me.
That was a long time ago, right?
That was a very long time ago.
So, but cyber deception's in this from the point that you can set tripwires and then you can automatically correlate if somebody accesses an account, if somebody accesses a file, then you can automatically correlate it with the internal system to see if there's any beaconing activity, trying to shorten that detection capability as just, get it as small as we can, or detection time as quick as we can as well. So that's pretty cool. All right. Logan, are you around?
Yep.
All right. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what makes the web work and why you did the section, breaking down things like Unicode, UTF, IP, DNS names, what's a resolver, what are all of these different things?
Sure. So when I went to go write this article, I kind of started from the thought that I wanted a little bit of a palate cleanser from the highly technical, really dense reference material, something that would be appealing to people who were getting started in the industry, didn't really know all the details of everything. And at first I thought about, what's actually happening on like a gigabit wire when you go make a web request. But then I, started looking at that and I thought about what would actually be useful. And I realized that it's all of these layers of software that really matter when you're looking at network threat hunting, because they contribute different parts to those packets. And being able to dive in, understand why those pieces are there, when they came about, and how they're used, I thought would make for a really nice article just to kind of read through and learn a little bit about all of that.
Yeah, because this gets into another thing. Like a lot of people, they're API developer is something that we hear all the time, right? And then you start asking them, do you know the basics of networking? And they're like, no. I develop APIs. And you're like, there's some core things that are missing. It's one of those things that we're working on these different things. That knowing that history is really, really, really important. The other thing is, I noticed that there's a lot of the history of the RFCs. Did you have Chris and Bill put you up to this, putting up the RFCs?
I maybe slipped it in there because I thought maybe there would be some brownie points involved.
Way to go, making your bosses happy is well done, sir.
But I'm a history buff, so learning all about all of that and going back to, there's these things called internet experiment notes that were like before RFCs, and so I learned about that and threw that in there. Cool stuff.
Although
let's
I
do
have
it.
to say, I thought there was a bit of zen to your article, Logan, where this was more of an analogy to the complexities in the physical world, just expressed digitally. Was I reading too much into that, or?
No, for sure. Like I said, I wanted to be a bit of a palate cleanser. So like there's that little
Yeah.
opening bit and closing bit. Just kind of take a step back, breathe. There's a lot there, but it's kind of beautiful, something to admire in its own way,
Yeah. So I've got a bit of trivia for people. What was the hotel where DARPANET was first released? So let's see if anybody can get that. Caitlin, Ian, Shelby, if you could be watching, let's see what people have for the answers on that. What is the hotel where DARPANET was first released? All right, let's keep going. Oh dear God, it's a T-Shark article. Well, which one of you is the T-Shark guru? Anyone who does the T-Shark stuff? Anybody who does T-Shark?
Yeah, I
Chris
play
is
around
the
with
strongest.
Anyone other than Chris? No. No. This is Chris's jam. I remember years ago when we were both still teaching at the place that shall not be named. I was like, it would be really cool if there was a command line version of Wireshark. And I think Chris was on like the other side of the room, and he like came over and sat down next to me, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Turns out there is, and I'm like, "Holy crap, this T-Shark thing is awesome." So
hey, before we go too far to the T-Shark, the other page, the CTF.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw a command in a Discord for you.
Oh.
So we need to pick the top 3 prizes, one of which is a Van de Graaff generator, which you can see sitting behind me. Although that's mine, you can't have it. You'll get another one.
I like that one.
But yeah, we need to kind of pick the top 3. So I gave you a shuff command. So the shuff command goes through and says, pick. So person number 1 got a threat hunting coin. Persons 2 through 7 had a perfect score. So we need to pick 3 out of 2 through 7 to go through and send them prizes. So that shuff command says, just give me 3 random numbers between 2 and 7.
That's cool. That gets into math.
Yeah.
Done.
Oh, don't even get me started on like shuff
Let's-
is more random than random. So
Let's talk a little bit about math and T-Shark. Because right here you've got data mash, which data mash and R tools, I think are just amazing. And I don't think it's funny because whenever I show that in my classes, I have like a bunch of Unix people that are like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Holy crap. And that is a bit of a surprise for some people. But can you talk a little bit about data mash and R tools and kind of how that can tie in with T-Shark to do some absolutely wicked cool stuff?
yeah. So one of the nice things about data mash is, so out of the box, and it's kind of a cleaner version than what the R tools used to be. The R tools are fine, but you need like Perl and a lot of dependencies, and it's a pain to get it running. Data mash, you just apt-get and you're in good shape. Out of the box, it'll do things like min, max, mean, average, all your statistical stuff. But one of the really cool things you can do with data mash is you can actually have it add up columns at the command line. So you can go in and the way I tend to use it is, hey, when the source IP address and the destination IP address is the same, that third column, whatever it happens to be, go through and add up those values. And that could be the duration of the connection. It could be, how much data left the environment. There's a lot of really cool things you can go through and do with it that way.
And one of the things that I love about this, and I know that this looks a bit weird, is its simplicity and the fact that, yes, I understand that there's lots of fields and there's lots of things going on, but it is a very quick, dirty trick to do some basic analysis from the command line that I think, especially whenever we're looking at data that we're pulling off of servers, like headless servers we're SSH'd into, maybe we don't have Zeek, maybe we just have PCAPs. This actually works faster than most people think it would, which is one of the things I was surprised because I was expecting it to be just incredibly slow, but it does okay. I mean, if you're working with something like 100 meg, it will parse through it just fine. When you start getting into like gig, like PCAPs, it tends to chunk a little bit. Is that kind of your experience as well, guys?
Yeah, it's got to do a full memory load. So yeah, if you've got a lot of data, it can take a little bit to go through and chomp that.
Mhm. Very cool. Oh my gosh, more T-Shark tricks. So
Yes,
this is one of the problems that we
why
have.
this one is sideways and why the other one is cut in half. It's because this was designed to be able to be a pull-out poster. So this is the page spread. And if you have the physical copy, you can either neatly undo the staples or just rip it out and hang this on your wall so you can have the T-shirt.
Or I'm just mothballing. Keep the magazine fine. Don't hurt the magazine. Come to our website and print it out.
That's you.
I would much rather you do that than deface deface the sanctity that is the zine. But once again, I love those old magazines that had lots of cool little cheat sheets and things that you could pull out and you could put on your wall. And I'm not kidding. Like, this will make you a better analyst. Like, if you get these cheat sheets, you put them out and you see them all the time. When you get into a problem, it's right at your fingertips. And like subconsciously, you're just going to start memorizing the various commands because you stare at them all day long in your cubicle as well. More advanced T-Shark tricks. Are there any specific ones on this one? I hate to just go through all of them quickly, but are there any ones, Chris, that you're like, yeah, this is one I want to talk about on this page?
Yeah, no, they're all kind of, when you need them type of thing. So
yeah. Okay.
It is. The one thing I will say T-Shark is good for that you can't even do with Wireshark is it's great for following streams that are not based on TCP or UDP.
What is this magic you speak of, Chris? Tell us about this magic.
And that's in one of the advanced commands. So let's say you've got a C2 channel that's based on, let's say, ICMP, and you want to string together all of the payloads. Whole lot easier to go through and do that with T-Shark because there is no follow stream option when you go through and you use Wireshark. But it can be GRE, it can be, pick your protocol. T-Shark will do it. Wireshark is limited to TCP and UDP only.
Very cool. All right, Bill, tell us about Polka Wrench info.
Sorry, wait a sec.
Tell us about Polka. We got Polka Wrench info as the domain you were using as an example for DNS, the sneakiest command. See, it's so sneaky. I got Bill.
I know.
And he didn't register it. That was the thing that surprised me.
I should have. You just need something to fill it in. And example.com gets way overused.
Yeah, it does. I should register that domain. So
you really should. So the whole idea was, let's just point out that it's possible to do these types of beacons without actually having a direct connection to the internet. And that's the one that was like mind-boggling to me when someone first described it. You can do all of this over DNS and it'll go right through your firewall. Yeah, absolutely, because your DNS server is allowed to place queries. All you need is the ability to make a DNS query and get a DNS response back. And now you've snuck by a lot of tools that will be looking for this stuff.
And the use case for this, like we see it a lot in Black Hills Information Security when we're doing pen testing. An example would be like a PCI environment for with the cardholder data or SCADA OT environment. And we go into these companies all the time and they're like, yeah, there's our sensitive systems have no direct connections to the internet at all. And that's true. That's true. They don't. If you try to make a direct connection from the internet, from those subnets or from those IP addresses, it stops it. But they allow DNS, not out to the internet. Usually your DNS resolver is like your domain controller. And these systems will do DNS resolution to the domain controller, which will then do that recursive lookup for those services on their behalf. And that becomes the channel. And that's why there's a lot of incidents that we work with in our IR team, which we're in the middle of an IR engagement right now. It's been a morning. I could talk more about it in the post-show banter. But when you have a customer that comes to you and you're like, yeah, our Active Directory domain controller is compromised because all of the command and control is coming from that server. It's like, what's the protocol? And they're like, it's all DNS. Yeah, that's not what you think it is. It's bouncing it off of that. So I love this article and the little hiding things within it and breaking it down. Cause I don't think a lot of people know how it actually works. And this did a great job of doing that. So thank you Bill.
Caitlin, who did the graphics for these? Oh, can't hear you. Caitlin?
You're on mute.
I was on
Bingo.
mute. Unless specified otherwise, like the comics do have the artist name on them. Everything is designed by me.
Well, nice work on those. We love the graphics. What I write comes out as ASCII text and puts people to sleep before they're done with the title. But you did a nice job with these.
Especially the cover. The cover was awesome.
Oh, just fantastic. I also feel bad for Caitlin because we send her like output of tools and then she turns it into these beautiful, like she redoes the entire, oh man, she's getting love on Zoom. But it turns it like makes it look good. And I absolutely appreciate that. So Ethan, are you handy?
I'm here.
So do you want to talk about your small talk with your threat hunting toolkit? Let's see, we got a couple of pages on this. So go ahead and kind of walk us through a little bit on what you put together for this.
All right. So threat hunting toolkit really started, I started doing threat hunting using the same command line tools as many other of the articles in the Zine showcase. And they're awesome, like built into Linux. They're just super handy. So working with Zclogs a lot, I found I was doing a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So I started writing automation and just easier ways to do things. And it started out with a single script called filter. And eventually it morphed into like an entire toolkit. And I was having to install all these tools, bring all these scripts to different systems. So I eventually just packaged it up into a Docker container, made it as easy as possible to install. And yeah, a single command and I can get everything, like I can bring my whole toolbox with me. So that's the threat hunting toolkit in a nutshell. And this few pages is just kind of my introduction to some basic things that you can do. I'm really big into like asking questions. Like, so when I threat hunt, I think of a lot of questions I want to ask. I write down those questions before I get into it, because inevitably I will go off onto some rabbit trail and forget what I was doing. Yeah, forget what I was doing. So it's always, I can go back and look at the initial question that I was trying to answer and try to refocus. So that's kind of how this is structured too. So just showing you different ways you can answer those kinds of questions using THT. And for those maybe already familiar with the Linux tools, this cheat sheet here has basically the alternatives that would do roughly the same thing as what the
kind of like a Rosetta Stone sort of.
Yeah, the equivalent in THT would do, except they're going to be a lot more verbose, and just, I don't know, mentally. And I've gotten, I think Keith, you confirmed that it's easier for some people like us to think around like smaller or fewer chunks. So basically you take find and grep and you think about those as like two different chunks. But if you think, oh, I'm just going to filter this, it's fewer things to keep in your head at once. So I don't know if I explained that.
It's taking a much larger data set and filtering it down into smaller and smaller chunks, like a refinement almost, right?
Well, not the data set necessarily, but yes, what you said is correct. I'm talking about just the thinking about the process, like, hey, what do I want to do? How do I think about that mentally? I mean, it's the same reason why you make aliases for commonly used commands in Linux, is because you don't want to have to think about the entire command that you want to type out, or type it all out. You have something shorter. Probably the best illustration there is the most frequent occurrence, kind of in the middle of that cheat sheet. It's 3 letters, MFO, most frequent occurrence. If you look at what that's actually doing.
Thought it was the mofo command. You need to add a mofo command.
I never saw that. Now I'm never going to unsee that.
I can alias it. I do alias it on my computer. So it's just mofo, like most frequent occurrence, mofo command.
Thanks for that.
And for that, I want to be a contributor, by the way, on your GitHub project.
So that what it's doing is something, if anyone who's done stack counting or any type of analysis basically does all the time, sort, unique, sort again, or unique with a count. And you just type it all the time. And it's just so much easier just to, MFO, whatever. It's a glorified alias. It's got some extra features, like you can give it a number and it'll, head the command for you as well. And the same goes with a lot of these. A lot of these could be aliases, and a lot of them started out as aliases, but then as I wanted different ways of using it, I would add more features and things you can do with them. So I didn't really talk about the content because I assume people can just read it, but I can talk about it if you want, if we have time.
Once again, I like the layout, and it just kind of gets to the point, and it almost looks like it's your kind of like a little bit of a workflow too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and I must say that this tool, this THT, literally changed my life. I mean, I sometimes struggled, getting through Zeek logs with, a string of commands that, 180 characters long. And this just makes such nice, efficient shortcuts where you can pull out the data you want. And I love it.
Very cool.
Thank you very much, Keith. I also want to point out a lot of the stuff that I use in here is going to be faster than if you had tried to do it just with built-in commands. And the main reason for that is a lot of the Unix commands are single process or single threaded, unless you go through a lot of hoops and start bringing in like xargs or parallel or whatever, and then you're just making it more complicated. But a lot of the stuff that I'm using, like filters, it uses a multi-threaded, multi-process grep under the hood. So you
what is this written in then for because it has multi-threaded capability?
I mean, it should be Bill's project because it's a bunch of shitty little shell scripts. But anyway, I'm building on the shoulders of giants. So like I bring in a whole bunch of other tools and make them easier to use, like workflow wise, I guess.
Fantastic.
And I experiment with it all the time. I just built a new version this morning locally. I put DuckDB in. I think it's probably going to stay. So that'll be released sometime.
I'm gonna be like, we need a webcast on this now, because that's how everything goes. It's like it's a webcast.
Sure, I have one in I think September-ish time frame.
We can move it up. All right. We'll talk about that more offline. But I think everybody would like to have a webcast on this, because this is one of those things where AC Hunter, you run it, you look at it, and then you want to get to the Zeek logs and actually start cutting through them. Just a really cool tool. So, All right. Thank you. And is this little, this is not a Venus flytrap. Is this called a Nepenthes? Is that what this particular plant is?
I just searched for pitcher plant. So
pitcher plant. I might get that wrong. Somebody on Discord will tell us what the name of that plant is. It's kind of like a Venus flytrap. It catches bugs. So
yeah. I know like the colloquial term is pitcher plant, and it catches the
pitcher
bugs.
plant.
I don't know what the scientific name for it is.
Very cool. And then we have this comic. Naomi, are you around? Naomi and Caitlin, do you want to talk about this? Because the comics are just like, it's kind of becoming one of the things we love doing at BHIS. But can you tell us a little bit about this comic?
This is all Naomi.
So Naomi?
So a lot of the other content in this zine was focused around threat hunting, and that's kind of the point. But one big thing at ACM is development, and so I wanted to throw just a little hint of it in there. Since I like to draw, I figured memes are probably a better thing to draw than, diagrams or trying to explain concepts.
Did you do the art for this too?
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Dude, dude, you should see her oil painting. She is amazing.
She really is. It's incredible.
Yep. Yeah. Although, Naomi, I have to correct you on a little bit. That third to the last pane, that is clearly a 2x12 or a 2x14.
Oh my God.
Not a 2x4, which would give a larger surface for connecting the cookie baker to the stacker.
Oh, Chris, come on.
Good night.
Of course, you would be the one defending the wooden plank solution, Chris.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about her inspiration on this, and just keep in mind, John and I are on this call. So
yeah, I think Logan just called us old. because he's right.
No, Logan called us the pointy-haired managers that would like come in and say, "Hey, let's do this thing," while they try and tell us, "No, it won't work that way."
So Naomi, kind of what's your process in your toolkit for drawing this? I'm assuming that you're doing it on a computer, and what you kind of workflow and how do you actually put something like this together? Because I honestly have no clue. Is there software that helps you develop it? Is there software like CAD software that helps with this as well? Like, how do you go about drawing and putting something like this together?
Yeah, so aside from just sitting down and planning out what the heck each panel is going to be, for the drawing process, I have something called a Wacom Cintiq. It's about a 22-inch wide drawing tablet, so it's a screen that you draw on. And I pull up a program called Clip Studio Paint. That's what I personally like to draw in, but a lot of other people like to use Photoshop. And really just creating boxes for each panel and then just drawing the art inside of it. And usually starts off with a sketch and then try to color it in, make sure that like the overall panel looks good, and then going in and doing the line art, which is just a tedious process of making sure that everything is smooth. And then the base colors, so just like flat colors, and then the shading and the highlights, and then any effects if there's any, like the...
I love the pizza meme in the lower left-hand corner, by the way. It's just awesome. So thank you so much. That's really, really super cool. Lisa, helpful threat hunting scripts, tricks, and things that you can do with Rita, ASCII formatting, and output. These are things that we've been working with for a long time, right? You want to talk a little bit about the tips and tricks pages that we have? Oops, here we go. Did we lose Lisa?
Sorry. I have to be honest, I got a lot of these. I learned a lot of these from Chris. But these are just some simple things to help you kind of format your output for Rita, and then kind of dig deeper into the Z clogs and get some more details on the output that you're seeing from Rita.
I learned a lot from Lisa. The least I can do is like return some of that in kind. So
yeah. And I love the grep statement right here. If I can make the lower right hand flip right there so you can see where my mouse is, you know, excluding previously hunted IP addresses. Like, once again, we don't do an exclusion list, but it does give you the capability with the output where you can do that type of hunting stuff down here. And I just found that I can do that. That's addicting. All right, so let's go. Sort unique, kind of, what do we have with Zeke, going through and hunting with Zeke. And how come we didn't get a picture of your cat? We have all these kitties, but not your kitty.
There are more pets hidden in the, if you go all the way back to the questions for beginner threat hunters, there's the Viewmaster, and there's a bunch of pets in there.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, my cats did not make it into this scene.
Unfortunately, not this time.
Oh no! I tried to work in as many as I could. Shelby gathered a bunch. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. This cat in the middle.
And Lisa, maybe you don't tell people you've named them A-hole 1 and A-hole 2.
Because that would be hilarious. Yeah, the cat at the top middle, it wants tummy rubs and murder. Because that's
yeah, actually, that's my boy right there. He's looking at you, judging you.
Oh God, the funny pages. I'm assuming Shelby was the one that kind of collected a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, so the one on the left, actually, my husband came up with the memes. He does not work in the tech industry, but he kind of likes his funny stuff. So he came up with it, and then I tried to throw in a little bit more technical wording in there. But yeah,
this is fantastic. I think these are some of the geekiest jokes in this magazine, honestly. So,
oh, those ones on the right are so geeky.
Yeah, the right page was Chris, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I gotta take blame for that. So
yeah, the Finn push urge Christmas tree scan. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a blast from the past. As someone's like, wait a minute, why is it Finn pushing? Oh, what?
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
make
Matt,
sense.
baby.
I don't understand. And then the grandma one, threats don't exist if my EDR didn't alert. Sure, grandma, let's get you to bed. That's nice. We have Wild West Hackin' Fest is coming up, by the way, everybody. And that
is that what that's for?
Yeah, the theme
I thought that looked like Deadwood at the bottom. So.
It does. It's Deadwood with the UFO and Wild West Hackin' Fest. And I think we have I Want to Be Elite and the WWHF files. So the X files are the theme for Wild West Hackin' Fest. And you should get tickets
about that.
If you're planning on coming, you should all really get tickets because we're going to sell out this year.
So I got to ask Caitlin about this one though, because it totally to me says X Files, but it doesn't actually say X Files anywhere on there. And I just
that's
thought
because
that
we don't
really
want to get
cool.
sued.
Yes.
It's a creative reinterpretation of it. So, all right, we got Shelby's story right here. Another cool comic, Pikachu. Oh, wow. This one's another good one. A little bit of Pikachu or Pikachu.
My only question on this one is, Lisa, will you be at Wild West Hacking Fest with purple hair and a little Pikachu plush?
Oh, yeah.
I will approve a custom-made Pikachu.
Perfect.
Because if somebody can find out where we can make one, I will make it happen.
Oh, I already have a site picked out, so I will send that through, John.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we need to make Pikachus.
And Lisa, you can expense the purple hair dye.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
Always. That goes without saying. So we close out with another comic. And once again, it's just a great way to try to learn and teach people. Bill, do you want to talk about the taking us out page? You are a threat hunter too. So
thank you, but I would love to give my time to Caitlin because I think she's got some stuff on how this was made. So if you want to read the article, that's great.
Oh crap. We're running out of time.
Pass that along to Caitlin.
Let's get it over to Caitlin. Caitlin, yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you, Bill, for keeping me on time. I was running behind. So Caitlin, do you want to throw some shout outs here? Because you had a lot of people that were just really helpful and you did a fantastic job on this.
We're on the credits page. This was not a singular effort. So thank you to everybody who did contribute and did help along the way. Cassie was the one that gathered the stuff and she is not here because she's on maternity leave. She was the one that was most closely working with the people to get the words. As far as the picture stuff goes, that was quite an effort, but my favorite part of creating this zine was the puzzle. And there's a whole bunch of hidden clues. There's the glasses that came with the puzzle. So if you're wondering why things look funky, it's to use the lenses. I think my biggest tip for anybody who is struggling with either the squinting or the glasses on and off, when I was testing and trying to do the designs and make sure that they worked, I didn't wear the glasses. I put them on the page. I put them on the screens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a throwback because a lot of us grew up in the 70s and the 80s. And every time 3D movies came on, it just gave you a splitting headache. And it was always, yeah, Bill's
it's the nostalgia.
You want to know what the 80s felt like? This is close. So thank you so much. And we're going to see more zines coming out. This is becoming the standard bearer for what it looks like. It's all about trying to get information to people and try to educate as many people as possible. Final quick notes. I'm sorry that we went a little bit over. You can subscribe and get a physical copy of this thing right here. It's a QR code that you can scan with your phone or someone else's, and you can register and you can get the physical copy. And it's not just a physical copy. We put all kinds of cool stuff in with it, like the glasses, the backdoors and breaches cards. This is, I know mail got a really bad rap because of a whole bunch of junk mail out there, but we want to bring back the best parts of getting a catalog, the best part of getting a magazine and keeping it forever and ever and ever. And we'd love to share that with you. So subscribe. Also, check out AC Hunter Community Edition. Once again, it's something that we're giving out to the community for free. You should really check it out. And also Black Hills Information Security. If you need to be hacked, if you think you've been hacked, or if you'd like to help prevent yourself from getting hacked, call Black Hills Information Security for all your hacking needs. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you at a podcast, webcast, or YouTube video or magazine at some point in the future. You can't run. You can't hide. The signal is out there. We're coming. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.